So we've all heard the expression, nice guys finish last. But is that really true? And do women only really want the bad boy? And if you're a nice guy, does that mean you're pretty much screwed and destined to a life of being dumped and going from woman to woman to woman, trying to be true to who you feel like you are and never really getting a long-lasting, satisfying, and gratifying relationship? Is that really what that means? Well, that's what we're getting into today in this video. Hi, I'm Jeff Campbell from DivorcedParentsClub.com, and I'm on a mission to help other guys who've gotten dumped, who are going through a divorce, navigate this world that we now find ourselves in. I got dumped myself a little over a year ago, and I'm making videos about all the things that I'm learning along this journey, and I'm glad you're here with me. Today's video is a little bit different too. I don't ever script out my videos, but I do usually concoct an outline and making sure that I hit all the points that I want to hit. And this one is kind of a really personal topic to me about nice guys, because I do consider myself to be a nice guy. And I really had a lot to say about this, and I wanted to try doing a video that was really just kind of more off the cuff. So I don't have an outline. I'm just kind of going off script here. But do nice guys really finish last? I'd like to think the answer is no. And again, as I mentioned, I am the proverbial nice guy. I am kind of a giver. I am kind of a pleaser. But as Coach Corey Wayne, a guy that I love on YouTube, has to say, he says you go to a relationship to give. So what's the difference between that and what we hear about, well, you can't be a pleaser, you can't be a nice guy, you're gonna get taken advantage of. Women don't want that, they want the bad guy. How do we balance all of that while being true to ourselves? And I think the key is setting a clear boundary, having clear things that you are willing to do and clear things that you're not willing to do, and not compromising that, not compromising your values just for the sake of pleasing a woman you're in a relationship with or dating or want to be in a relationship with, or maybe the woman who dumped you that you're hoping will come back to you. You've got to have clear boundaries, clear things that you are not willing to do no matter what they want. And I think that makes all the difference. So in my case, I am a pleaser, I am a giver. I like to be generous with the people I'm in a relationship with. And I do have a girlfriend now that I've been dating for 3 months, having been dumped by my now ex-wife a little over a year ago. And so I do come to the relationship to give. I love to make her happy. I love to please her. But I don't do that at my own expense. There are things that she likes that I don't like, and that's okay. I don't expect us to like the same things, but I do think it's important that both of us be willing to compromise for the sake of the whole. But there are things that I'm just not willing to do. Like, for example, and I've mentioned this in one of my other videos, she told me when we first started dating that she didn't really think that human beings were cut out to be monogamous, and that she had been in monogamous relationships before, but that she didn't really think it was human nature to be monogamous. I disagree with that, and I'm not willing to be in an open relationship or a polyamorous relationship. If somebody else wants to do those things, more power to them. And I think as long as we're talking about two consenting adults who are in agreement on whatever it is that they're doing, I think that's totally fine. It's just not what I want. And I was very clear that if that was what she wanted, that we wouldn't be in a relationship together. And she agreed to be monogamous with me. And I believe that she's going to fulfill that commitment. So that's a clear example of me setting a boundary that I'm just not willing to cross. There are other things though, be it, restaurant choices, food choices, what I make for dinner, things like that, where I am willing to compromise for her tastes. And I think that's totally okay. And I think as long as it's going in both directions, as long as she's also giving to me in the same kind of ways, I think that's totally okay. There's another saying that I like. I mentioned Coach Corey Wayne's saying earlier about how you go to a relationship to give. There's another saying that I love that comes from Tony Robbins, and that is trade your expectations for appreciation and your whole world changes in an instant. And basically what he's saying is that if you go into a relationship with expectations of the other person, you're setting yourself and them up for failure. How many times have you been in a relationship yourself, or maybe had a friend or family member in a relationship where all they talked about was how they wanted their spouse or their partner to be different? I have a friend somewhat recently divorced, and his wife was always on him to change who he was. He's a very strong, silent, type A, macho kind of guy. And guess what? he was that way when they were dating. And she married him knowing he was that way. But once they got married, she wanted him to be different. She wanted him to be more namby-pamby, if I'm being honest, and more beta male. And that's just not who he is. Never going to be who he is. But guess what? They split up. They got divorced, and then up until she got married again to somebody else, they were hooking up on a regular basis. So clearly she did like that. She was attracted to him. Mentally, she may have thought she wanted something different, but her human nature was attracted to that dominant alpha male figure. And I do think in general, and again, I'm stereotyping here, I do think that women are attracted to clear, decisive, confident guys. But you can be clear and confident and decisive and still be a nice guy. A beta male is somebody who isn't confident, who is always losing his shit every time something doesn't go right, and he's yelling and flying off the handle and essentially making his woman feel unsafe. And a woman needs to feel safe, heard, and understood in order to fully open up and commit to the relationship. And when she doesn't feel safe, heard, and understood, she shuts down, and she might get bitchy or cranky or irritable, and then give that to the guy, and then that makes the guy respond in that same way because he's got those beta male characteristics. And then their whole relationship becomes basically bitching and fighting with each other, and eventually is going to end because neither one of them are happy and getting their needs met. And really though, it all starts with the guy. You can be clear, you can be confident, you can be decisive, and still be a nice guy. I know that might sound counterintuitive, but it's totally true. So how many times have you, in a previous relationship, or maybe with friends of yours, seen the woman go, well, what do you want for dinner tonight, honey? Oh, I don't know. What do you want for dinner? And then they just go back and forth for 15 minutes trying to decide, like, somebody make a fucking decision. And you can make that decision, you know, hey, honey, I was really thinking we could go out for Chinese food tonight. I love Chinese food and we haven't been out for Chinese food in a while. Let's do that. And then if she says, well, I don't know, I was really hoping for Italian, you can just say, well, hey, let's do Italian tomorrow night then. And you've made a decision, you're clear, you're confident, you're not being domineering. There's a difference between being clear and confident and decisive and masculine and being a domineering prick. There's a big difference there. And when we hear the term toxic masculinity, a term I personally hate, because masculinity, true masculinity, is never toxic. But when people talk about toxic masculinity, what they're really talking about are guys who lack confidence. And they make up for that by being kind of an asshole, being domineering and condescending or chauvinistic and things like that. And true masculinity is none of those things. True masculinity is calm, is centered. We don't lose our shit in the face of something going a way that we didn't expect it to go. We stay calm, we stay cool. We know that, hey, you know what? Life happens, and the only thing I can truly control are my own thoughts and actions. I can't control anything else. I can feel disappointment maybe, I could even maybe feel anger, but I don't need to let those feelings control me and then control what I might do based on those feelings. True masculinity is remaining calm in the face of chaos. It just is. And you can remain calm in the face of chaos and still be a nice guy. Real quick, before we keep going, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, then smash that subscribe button and the bell notification button too. That lets YouTube know, hey, this is a good video. They're going to show it to more people, but they're also going to show you more videos like this one because they know that you like it and they want to show you more videos that they think you're going to love. But it also helps me grow my channel and help more people too. So what is a nice guy, and why does the term nice guy sometimes get a bad rap? Well, nice guys often are mistaken for beta males. Guys who dutifully go along with everything that their woman wants. They have no boundaries, no guidelines. They say yes to everything. And eventually the woman starts to feel like she's in charge of the relationship. She assumes the more masculine role. The guy assumes the more feminine role. I mean, if you've got the sexual polarity reversed like that, it could still work as long as the woman truly is comfortable being in her masculine. And some women are. Most women, though, would much rather be in their feminine feminine, and most guys would much rather be in their masculine. The real problem happens when both people are in their feminine or both people are in their masculine, because then there's no sexual polarity, there's no spark, and there's a lot of infighting, and eventually that relationship is going to fizzle because you need that sexual polarity in order to kind of keep that spark alive. And again, human nature for most of us is that the woman is going to be more in the feminine and the man is going to be more in the masculine, and that's really what you want. But you can be a masculine guy and still come to the relationship to give, to serve, to please her, as long as you're not compromising your own values, your own guidelines, and your own boundaries that you set, and you're not willing to cross those things. And you're not constantly giving if she's not also giving in return. And you don't need to keep a score pad. You don't need to like, well, you know, I said I love you 15 times last week and you only said it to me 9 times. You don't need to be like that. Don't keep score. But both people do need to be contributing to the relationship in a variety of ways. And if they're not, if it's really one-sided, then that's not a healthy relationship, no matter which way it's going. So if you are a quote-unquote nice guy and you do have trouble setting boundaries and enforcing healthy boundaries, and you do tend to get walked all over, what are some things that you can do to turn that around but still not compromise who you are? The first is to get clear on exactly what your boundaries are. What are some things that you're just not willing to do? For me, it was I wasn't willing to be in an open relationship or in a polyamorous relationship. I just wasn't willing to do that. Not something I'm willing to compromise on. So you've got to get clear on exactly where your boundaries are. Then you need to feel comfortable communicating what your boundaries are, what your needs are, what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. That way your partner knows exactly what your boundaries are. They can't stay within your boundaries if they don't know what they are, and you can't set them and enforce them if you don't know what they are, if you're not clear on those things. So get clear on what your boundaries are and then clearly and confidently communicate that to your partner. Then the next thing I want you to do is to get confident about making decisions. Women love confidence. That's no big secret. They also love a guy who can make a decision. And a lot of guys get into the boat where, like I said earlier, where we're talking about, well, what do you want for dinner, honey? Oh, I don't know. What do you want for dinner? And you just go back and forth like that. So get confident, get comfortable being able to make clear, concise decisions in a timely manner. Try it out. Don't just say, I don't know, what do you want? Because a lot of times when we say things like that, we're wanting to please our partner. Well, you know, what would you like, honey? I'd love to do whatever you want to do. It's coming from a good place, but it comes across as kind of namby-pamby and wishy-washy and flimsy. And women are not attracted to guys who behave that way. So try it out. If you've been in a relationship for any length of time with this woman, you know what she likes. You know what her favorite things are. In the case of the woman that I am dating, my girlfriend, I know she loves Asian food. So I'm not going to suggest that we go out for burgers because she's almost a vegetarian. I'm not going to suggest it. I do like a good burger, and every now and then we're going to go someplace where I can get a burger and she can get something with tofu if that's what she wants. And that's okay. If I do want to please her, then I'm going to say, you know, hey, why don't we go to that noodle place that you love? Or why don't we go to that Thai place that I know you love? Being clear and I'm being confident and I'm being decisive, but I'm still taking her needs into consideration. If I hated Asian food, I probably wouldn't do that. I'd probably look for some sort of middle ground. What I wouldn't do is constantly suggest Asian food knowing that she loves it if I didn't like it, because then I'm compromising my own needs too far for the sake of pleasing her needs. So you do want there to be balance, and really balance is the key to almost everything. Have it be balanced. Have your needs be met some of the time, her needs being met some of the time, and then collectively both of your needs being met some of the time too. That is really the secret to success and the secret to remaining a quote-unquote nice guy while not being flimsy, wishy-washy, namby-pamby, and not being a beta male who just can't make a fucking decision to save his life. Anyway, I hope you like this video. If you like this style of video where I don't have any outline or script whatsoever, I'm just kind of free-forming it. If you like that, let me know in the comments down below. If you don't like that and you'd rather me go back to having a slightly more formatted video, let me know that in the comments down below as well. Or if you have an idea for a future video, please let me know that down below also. But for now, I'll see you in the next video.